boys, big takes, big energy, and let's do it today, boys. Come on.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Welcome back. I'm Neil.
I'm Pat.
I'm Michael.
And this is the 4-on-1. We're covering everything in the football world. Boys, how we doing? How we doing?
Wow.
Second pot of the week.
Yep, second of 3.
I can't even believe Neil continues to ask me dumb questions about how I'm doing. I'm doing fantastic. I'm loving it. Excited for the podcast. We got a lot to talk about.
Do you have the energy?
Shut up. Stupid question. Stupid question.
Mike, how we doing?
Stupid question. So I was watching a past podcast today, and I came across our Super Bowl podcast, which happened to be 13. And I remember in the small talk we're doing right now, I said, guys, this is going to be one of the last podcasts of the year. And now we're recording 26, which is double the 13. And oh, God,
awesome. That's
I
awesome.
predicted the events, but boy, am I happy that we're doing it.
Hell yeah.
So today we are really doing some analysis on the Patriots draft choices with the exception of quarterbacks. So we're going to cover that, and that pod will be released on Saturday, episode 27. 27. That's crazy.
That's awesome.
Who wants to start off?
I have a little announcement.
Okay.
For the 401 podcast.
Okay.
From me, Patrick, and Neil. Dear Patriot fans, please do not flip out because you may not recognize some of the players, if not all of the players, that were drafted. Because us Pat fans rarely recognize some of the Patriots that were drafted. And just because an analyst might say that it's a head scratcher or that they reach on a pick, doesn't mean that this player can't grow to be a very solid starter and overall be a very solid pick. So with that being said, I would like to start off saying that Bill Belichick had a plan going into this draft. He wanted to draft versatile, and he came to fruition by drafting Kyle Duggar in the second round. Traded the first pick away, 23rd pick, drafted Duggar. Pat, I'm going to kick it to you for the first time. Thoughts on Duggar, initial reactions?
All right. Lenore Ryan. I mean, dude, this guy's, but you know what? I want to ease some nerves first. He's been run with the big dogs for a while. He was the only D2 player at a lot of like prospect days and things like that. He was kind of random in my ears, and I literally like said the F-bomb when I heard it. I was like, what are the Patriots doing? I was like, what is happening? But dude, now that I looked at him, like he was still, look, it was early for the second round, but he was still up there. Like he was going to get drafted. Like it wasn't like crazy.
Oh, well, yeah, it was supposed to go second round.
The Patriots scouts reported him as a hard worker and tough. So classic Bill Belichick. This couldn't have been more expected pick for Belichick. And you know what? It makes more sense than I thought. You got a slightly aging secondary. Clearly Bill sees something in this guy. But Mike, we've seen D2 players before.
We have, and I would like to address all the people. I'd like to
Danny
address all the
Woodhead
people,
is my
just
favorite.
like myself, who has said, this guy was a D2. Why is he being drafted in the second round in the first pick? I'd like to run off a few. Malcolm Butler, drafted in D2 to the Patriots, born and bred in New England by Bill Belichick, won a Super Bowl 48, I think it was. Or whatever, 47, I don't remember.
49.
It's hard keeping track of them all, honestly.
So, how about Tyreek Hill? He was drafted D2. Austin Eckler. Pat said Danny Woodhead, who was an ex-Patriot. Adam Thielen. All these guys drafted D2. Khalil Mack and Jimmy Garoppolo, both drafted D1, but out of some very obscure schools who probably comparing the competition between Kyle Duggar's and theirs, it was pretty comparable.
Eastern Illinois.
Yeah, it's not
that
a very big-name school. So then jumping to the third round, we have Josh Uche, defensive end out of Michigan, and it's just stockpiling those versatile players. He can drop back into coverage, which is very uncommon in the NFL today. I can only really name like 10 linebackers, if that can cover running backs. It is a dime a dozen. So
him and Winovich are going to make an insane combination. And
both at Michigan.
He's able to both out of Michigan. He's able to cover receivers, running those short slant routes as well as tight ends, and then also running backs in the backfield. Like you said, very versatile player, insane feat.
It's also worth noting that he only played just over 50% of the snaps, and he still had 8.5 sacks in his senior year. So, well, the guy balled down the Senior Bowl. So did Kyle Duggar. And I think if both these players get pretty good against the top competition, why not? Can they in the NFL?
Yeah,
and
so
you know what?
Bill actually said in a post-draft press conference that the Senior Bowl was really what sold him on Duggar. Yeah. And if it hadn't been for that, he probably wouldn't have taken him as early as they did. Mm-hmm. But I just think it's really cool. Like, just that one game makes.
Well, it wasn't just that one game. The guy was a freak athlete.
Obviously,
and
he
turned.
That was the one that really sold.
It was the turning point.
Yeah,
absolutely.
But he played crazy in the combine, put up really big numbers.
One other interesting thing about Duggar that I want to talk about is that he also returns punts, which I thought was super interesting because as of last year, one of the guys returning our punts was Gunnar Olszewski. Mm-hmm. That's a problem. Okay?
I mean, you also have Mohamed Sanu, but because of the injuries, you don't want to.
I was just about to talk about that. You could. I just said we could put Sanu under. We could put Edelman under it. Edelman aging, Sanu injuries. These guys are aging. The problems. We need them on offense. Do you know what I mean?
Yep.
He's got the credentials too. He's the first team in his division. He's got a chip on his shoulder. I like what he does. I want to see what this guy can do. I'm excited for him to be a Patriot. A little unconventional, but it's not at all unconventional for Bill. You got to think about Bill and his mindset. He doesn't care if you are a Walmart employee or the top draft prospect.
He will
if he sees something in you, he's going to try.
He struck out on a lot of picks as of recently.
He struck out before, and that's why I would say Neil, chill a little bit.
Yeah, a little bit. He doesn't.
I think if we're seeing that Bill sees something in him, I think it just comes
but Bill sees something in a lot of first and second. Dude,
and sometimes it just doesn't work.
Bill took a chance on Duke Dawson in the second round.
Great
he didn't play one game, got injured, played for Florida, big name school, and now was on the Broncos practice squad, or he's on a depth cornerback. He doesn't hit a home run with all the players.
So just to wrap up this whole Duggar thing. So as Michael started with, dear Patriots fans, let it marinate. Let it happen. Let him do what he can do. I don't think it was a stupid pick. It was an unconventional pick, but it's nothing we haven't seen before with Belichick.
Yeah, and to add on to Pat's point, it's not like this kid's going to be asked to start in a safety position this year.
You got McCourty. You know what I mean?
You got McCourty. Still have Patrick Chung. This guy is a project pick. You don't like project picks in the second round because he has a ton of raw
hold
talent.
on. I wouldn't say he's a project pick.
No,
he was picked in the second round.
I know.
6, 7 are project picks.
He's a developing talent.
He is.
I don't think anybody picked in the second round is considered a developing. I think everybody's a developing talent.
I was just going to say all players develop.
Joe Burrow's a developing talent. You're going to develop in the NFL as you're there, dude. But when you say developing talent, it makes it seem like, you said, it was a little like, I guess we'll try.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? No, I think this guy will. They drafted him for a reason. You know what I mean? Like, will he be legit? I don't know. We'll see. I think you got to give him a chance. That's my final verdict.
And can I start off with talking about the tight ends?
Can I start
over there? No, I'm starting. So we started talking with Devin Asiasi out of UCLA and Dalton Keene.
Gronk Hernandez vibes. Major
Come on, man. Oh, God. Major. So they're both movable players who obviously can play anywhere on the field. Asiasi's more your vertical seam type guy. Keene can play out of that H-back position, out of the backfield a lot. So tendency-wise, like Pat just said, I think they both match up to be like Gronk and Hernandez. I mean, Asiasi lines up on the line just like Gronk did, not does. And Keene is that expendable piece that can really play anywhere in the offense, which is good for Bill because he can put him anywhere.
And you know what? Exactly that whole anywhere thing. Hernandez was almost, it's weird, but he was almost like a glorified receiver. He could really move around like anywhere you needed him to. And versatility is what this team needs right now. Definitely.
And they're also really good run blockers, which is huge with this offense because let's assume
young quarterback.
Let's assume that Stidham is starting quarterback week 1. We don't know anything yet, but let's say he is. Okay, it's pretty set in stone. With that being said, Sony Michel's going to have to step it up from last year because whether you believe this guy had a solid season or a below-average season, he didn't do what we all thought he was going to do. So maybe if you got these two good run blockers, takes off the pressure from Stidham. And just to wrap up the tight end talk, if you guys have nothing else to add, I think Asiasi and Keene, they both are going to step in as the number 1 and number 2 tight ends.
So I got a little bit to add to that, Mike.
Okay.
This tight end move made me a little bit uneasy. And thinking about the whole Gronk Hernandez thing made me a little bit more comfortable, thinking like, oh, the Patriots have done this before. It made me a little bit uneasy. Whether you like it or not, the dual tight end dual tight end threat is kind of a dying thing. Not going to lie. It hasn't been used in a while.
Anymore.
And the only really real example that is or will work is O.J. Howard and Rob Gronkowski. Do you know what I mean? And honestly, I think that's why maybe the Bucs made this move, because Brady enjoyed that so much. But I don't know. Although I feel the inexperienced quarterback will benefit from the two tight ends rather than having to, literally pinpoint the exact pass. He could just kind of put it up, and a big guy like a big tight end can try to pull it down. Does that help a young new quarterback? Sure. I just don't think these I think they're big, gritty guys.
Well, Asiasi isn't huge. I mean, he's 6'3", not like Gronk was, but he's still a big target for.
He's still right. He's a big target. I feel like one tight end was smart. I think we should have gone for Kmet personally, but I feel like two is just kind of trying to force the old Patriot way almost too much.
I don't know, man, because I just think if you're the Patriots and you didn't see anyone else on your board that you'd rather have, why trade down for more picks? I would just take your chance in the third round.
Yeah, but
you had four third-round picks.
Dude, double rookie tight ends, chances are one of those guys is not going to be successful.
And one of them will be successful.
Or both.
I will take that chance, and I'll take that chance any day.
It's not guaranteed that Bill is planning to start both of them at the same time. It's just clear that he's obviously has a plan for both of them.
But Neil, you keep on talking about the plan that Bill has. I mean, all coaches have a plan to an extent.
Yeah.
I mean,
I just think Bill's plan has led us to 6 Super Bowls.
Bill's plan also said Tom Brady for 20 years and just give him what he wants. Do you guys have anything more to add on tight ends, or can we transition to running back?
Let's talk backs, man.
All right, so I did talk about how I think that these guys are going to be really good run blockers, which is going to help out Michel, and I do want to get to the run game. So people forget how dominant Sony Michel was at Georgia and how good he was, and he flashed a lot in his rookie campaign. The guy looked like the real deal at one point, and whether he took a step back or not, I think he still can be that real deal we all
I think he can too.
But because of the revolving door at offensive line, whether it was Wynn going down or Cannon going down, and David Andrews going down too, he didn't really get into a groove in the regular season.
And I think a lot of that, and I think a lot of Sony Michel's not successful season had a little bit to do with that.
I agree with that. So let's take a look at who they've drafted in the last 2 seasons. Okay, just offensive line based. First round, Sony Michel. Third round, Damian Harris. Obviously, both running backs. I think people forget that Damian Harris was picked in the 3rd round. He could be a really good running back if James White were to leave. And if you combine the last 3 years, they've taken 1 first-round offensive lineman, a 3rd-round offensive lineman, a 4th-round offensive lineman, and 2 6th-round offensive linemen. After doing a little bit of research, N'Keal Harry is supposedly the best run-blocking wide receiver.
Fantastic run-blocking wide receiver.
So because of injuries, half of them weren't able to play. Now, maybe the run game can get fully healthy, and this team can get the running back committee going again to, like I said before, take some of the pressure off of
Mike, the running back
and the wide receiver core.
The running back committee, dude, sure. Who do you have besides Sony Michel? I mean, James White, dude,
he's one of the best receiving backs in the NFL.
Yeah, absolutely one of the best receiving backs. But Sony Michel has proven to us his rookie campaign that he's able to produce. The question is, will he? I don't know. It's funny to become a Patriots fan. I want him to, but I don't know if he will. Do they have enough pieces? Think of the offensive linemen that they drafted, dude. 6th, 7th round project players. They really did not make
this draft.
You're picking a guy at Wake Forest.
No, but that's 7th round, dude. Michael Ochenwu.
That's what I'm saying.
So then, Neil, but we're saying how that pick doesn't necessarily matter. I'm just saying all the picks together. In one of the 5th rounds, they took Michael Ochenwu out of Michigan. It's supposedly one of the best value picks in the draft. The guy's 6'6", 360. He's an absolute tank. Can that translate over to the NFL? I'm not sure, but he reminds me a lot of Trent Brown, who was 6'6" tackle. This guy's a guard.
Mike,
another
someone picked in the 6th round immediately makes me skeptical.
I know, but how about the 1st rounder in Isaiah Wynn, or the 3rd rounder, or the 4th rounder in Hilty Froholt?
Dude, sure. I mean, there are obviously exceptions to those.
Those guys were injured and weren't able to play. I'm saying with those guys being able to play this year and really showing, what they can, given the year of NFL experience under their belt, maybe they'll be a little bit better. You know what I mean? That's why I don't think they stressed offensive line that much.
I just didn't want you to argue the fact that we got offensive linemen.
No,
I'm not. The 6th pick, the 7th pick, and another 7th. Pick round. 6th round, 7th round, 7th round.
I combined the last 3 years. I don't think this draft went after offensive linemen at all, especially early. They went for offensive linemen late, and I think it's what you have to do. Because, dude, like it or not, they were the 10th ranked offensive line last year. Did Marshall Newhouse not play to the best of his ability and it screwed him out of a couple games? Maybe. But they were still the 10th ranked offensive line, especially down the stretch of the season.
Pat's like, I hate that guy.
Don't talk to me about Newhouse. I hate that guy. He's the worst. He screwed us.
So, anything else?
I mean, like, I think in general the drafting of the offensive lineman was smart. I mean, once, like Michael said, we're the 10th best in the league, but like, I feel like we could have used one more piece instead of double tight ends back to back. But the point
is that both of them are good at blocking for run, dude.
And if one of them doesn't pan out, Bill can, or at least we are guessing, he will end up using one of them in a starting position.
But it's not all Bill. It's also the offensive line coach, dude. Like, it's also those guys, and they can decide what they want to do. I know that Dante Scarnecchia is gone,
but you could say that, sucks. Michael. You could say that about any position. Let's get 2 quarterbacks and hope one of them pans out. Let's get 2 running backs and hope one of them.
But not. I could say that, but I'm not, because tight end is a huge need on this team. And whether I said earlier that I don't think it was a bigger need to say Kmet. I still stick to that. I don't think that Kmet was necessarily a
necessity.
A necessity for thank you, Neil. A necessity for the Patriots, because I just think that early in the draft, you can get better guys. I think you did, like Josh Uche and Kyle Duggar if he pans out.
Slow down. I wouldn't have too much confidence in this guy yet. I have hope for this guy, not confidence.
But you don't need to have confidence in him this year. He doesn't need to perform this year.
The baseline metric I can tell you why I would have been more excited for Kmet, and why Kmet would have been a better pick than Duggar is because the way that we all reacted. We go, who is this guy? What? You know what I mean?
And like
Rather
I said,
than Kmet, we've been like, okay, good pick.
There are multiple times where we've said, who is this guy? And
dude, and I've said it, and we've already talked about Duggar, and we agree, I think, on this circumstance. I'm with you. If he pans out, great. I have hope for the guy, but do I think Kmet would have been a better pick and a safer pick? Yeah. I think it would have been much safer than wasting 2, rather than getting 1 tight end in an earlier round, having a better chance for it to pan out than 2 tight ends and hoping one of them is going to pan out. That's like wasting a pick. I think you could have gotten either A, a really good receiver, and I want to get into that, receivers.
Me
or
too.
B, and B, instead of one of those tight ends, like a solid offensive lineman rather than project picks. I think they were great.
I have a feeling both of you wanted receivers.
I didn't necessarily want receivers. I would have liked one. Even if it was a project pick, I would have wanted one personally.
Neil, you wanted a receiver, right?
Not necessarily wanted one. I don't even know if I even kind of expected one.
I expected one and I wanted one in the 7th round. Not even like a huge like big pick. 5th, 6th, 7th round, I expected and wanted a receiver just to beef it up a little bit.
I don't mind the fact they didn't pick any.
I don't particularly mind that.
I'm actually okay with it, and it's not because the draft class wasn't good. Because
they got Marquise Lee and they got Bird.
It was.
And they have Sanu and they have Edelman, and I don't even want to get into Myers. I'm not a fan.
I'll get into it. So I'm not mad about it, dude. Because look, the draft class was stacked. It was, but. It was slim pickings come 6th and 7th round. I mean, it was like one of the worst kept secrets in the draft. This is a good wide receiver class. So
they're all going to go super
went early and often.
Yeah.
I think it shows confidence. I think it shows confidence in that the Patriots are confident in the wide receiver core they have right now. I think that the Patriots think that Sanu can be as good, if not better, than he was before the ankle injury, like he was in Atlanta and in his Patriots debut. They think that Edelman might have 1 or 2 years left of gas left in the tank to do high level football.
You said a couple podcasts ago this guy was past his prime.
It is.
And that he wasn't good.
He is. No. Never said he wasn't good. Never said he wasn't good. I said he's past his prime.
Dude, you were like I was talking about, you were like aging.
He is aging.
I agree that he's aging, but that doesn't mean he can still produce.
I never said he couldn't produce. I never said he couldn't.
I think you like it when it works for your point.
No,
That's what I think.
yeah, well, dude, everybody does that. But, dude, I never said that he couldn't produce. He's a great receiver. Not number one, but he's a great receiver. N'Keal Harry could be a big-time receiver. He flashed towards the end of the season last year, especially in that Chiefs game. Not saying Jacoby Myers is going to be, like, a number one or number two receiver, but, like, number 4, I think he can solidify that number 4 receiver spot, and
he'll
be fine with that.
He couldn't get open. He couldn't get open.
Newly acquired Marquise Lee. I like the pickup, but I am surprised. I think he can gel with Stidham and make a good connection with him, but I am surprised because Edelman, N'Keal Harry, both and Sanu all had injuries, right? All had injuries throughout the season, and yet they go out and pick Marquise Lee, who has been injured 3 years out of the last 4.
True.
Just doesn't make any sense to me. He has a high ceiling, but are you going to be able to actually get that, Pat?
Are you going to get something out of it, right?
Yeah.
So I kind of want to hop in wide receivers too, and I want to get your takes. So why do you think they wouldn't go for a lower end wide receiver, even if he's not going to necessarily pan out? You don't have a ton of hope and or confidence in the guy.
Well, it's kind of contradicting yourself. If you don't have confidence in the guy, you're not going to pick him.
Right. Yeah.
And if you feel that there are other positions of need on the team, then you're going to pick those. And if you also feel your wide receiver core is fine, then you're not going to pick a wide receiver. I mean, those are just 3 reasons.
I think this shows confidence in the wide receiver core, as Michael said, definitely. But do I think they should have snagged, someone instead of Justin Herron out of Wake Forest or Dustin Woodard a center out of Memphis? A center? We just got Andrews back. I didn't particularly understand that pick. I think pick 230 in the 7th round would have been a fine time to get a little project player wide receiver. I didn't think it would be crazy.
Remember, and I agree with you on that. I think it wouldn't have hurt, because I don't know if you need to go out and pick 3rd-string centers. But you have to remember, the Patriots have 90 players on their roster right now.
Oh, they're
37 of those are going to get cut. And I promise you that at least one of the players we're talking about right now probably won't make the final roster. Squad.
I'm gonna say out of this rookie list, 2 or 3 of them probably won't make it.
Yeah, and that's okay. I just think I agree with Pat's point. I'm like, taking a project player at the end wouldn't hurt, but they did draft 2 undrafted. They did take 2 undrafted wide receivers. One who ran like a 4.4, like a really fast.
Mike, come on.
No, I know.
Undrafteds pan out sometimes.
What did we say last pod? You could put Usain Bolt in a football uniform. Doesn't make him good.
Right. No, I'm just saying the only thing I know about the guy is that he's fast. So even though the Patriots have no deep threats, maybe they're trying to get a guy who they can just chuck the ball.
And I think that's what they're trying to do. And in that sense, it was smart.
There's a 90% chance the guy doesn't make the final roster. It's just I just think it's worth noting because it's not like they completely dismissed the position. I mean, they got 2 undrafted guys.
I mean, I don't know. Are we really confident in Sanu being our number 1?
Yes.
No. Edelman's our number 1.
No. No one's saying
obviously.
Yes.
What?
Edelman's going to be our number 1.
Edelman's number 1.
And if he gets hurt, what happens?
Sanu
is a number 1.
That's like saying if Julio Jones get injured, are you comfortable with Calvin Ridley? Like, no, but that's the cards
Julio
you're
Jones
dealt.
isn't riddled with injuries.
Yeah, he is. Julio Jones has missed games upon games upon games because of injuries. What are you talking about?
Not as much as Edelman.
I'm not saying as much as Edelman. I'm saying not the last 2 years he hasn't been as injury riddled. But
okay, so he's not as much
7.
That's not as much of a concern for the Falcons as it is
in the last 2 years. What about the first 7?
We're only talking about recent.
But I'm saying you still have a history that those things can still pop back up.
I suppose, but Edelman's injuries are more of a prevalent problem right now than Julio Jones's were for the Falcons at one point.
I mean, Sanu's a good player. He definitely didn't reach his potential last year. Is that because of his leg injury? I don't know. I think we're gonna see. You know what I mean? I think there's a lot to just watch. If I'm a betting man, I would say that Sanu improves. I think a new quarterback's going to mess him up a little bit, but I think it's something for everyone to get used to. Do you know what I mean?
And look, in his debut, people forget, he caught 10 balls against the Ravens. And the Ravens don't have like an awful secondary. They're like top 5 in the NFL. So he caught 10 balls against a really good team. And I just think that's when he was healthy. Why can't he do that again this year, being fully healthy? And no one's expecting him to be a number one receiver. I personally don't think they have a number one receiver on this team.
I think Edelman's number one receiver.
I think Edelman assumes that role. I don't think he's number one receiver by any metric. He's a slot receiver.
So are you saying that you don't think any wide receiver on this roster lives up to the caliber of a number one receiver?
No, I don't think so. I think N'Keal Harry can be, because he is a player that can play outside the numbers. He's a big red zone target.
I don't think you need to be a number one receiver. I don't think you need to be able to play outside the numbers. I think you need to be the best player on the team.
Name one number one receiver that doesn't play outside the numbers.
When I think of
Name one receiver.
Let me finish what I'm saying. When I think of number one receiver, I just think of the best receiver on the team.
Yeah, I know, but that's not. Edelman is the best receiver on the team, but I don't think he is a number one receiver.
He's a slot receiver. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so answer my question. Name one receiver that plays that's a number one receiver that doesn't play outside the numbers.
I can't think of one right now.
Because it's not very common, and that's why
Hey, look, of course it's not common.
So I don't think you.
But the Patriots in general are an anomaly. The Patriots are an anomaly, dude. You know
oh my god, dude! I'm sick of the whole Patriots are like in their own world type thing. Like, look,
they are,
dude. They're really not. Belichick is getting arrogant at this point. Oh, let me just take some D2 guy, and look, other D2 guys have panned out.
Yeah, but he's done it before, dude.
It may be contradictory, but like, I just think it's becoming arrogant. I think it is. I think he's trying to like outsmart other people and just try to live up to this whole mastermind status quo thing, and it's really starting.
He's been doing it for years and been successful doing it.
No, and some of them haven't panned out.
Sure, dude, of course some of them have been panning out.
Dude, he
throws something at a wall and see if it sticks. Of course.
I would say the last 3 drafts haven't panned out.
Let me think.
Isaiah Wynn, injury riddled. Sony Michel, N'Keal Harry,
Okay, Sony Michel is not That's strong.
He is
He's not He had a fantastic. He's in a sophomore slump with.
He had an awful yards per carry. He was given a ton of chances. That's why he had like 900 yards.
He's in a sophomore slump with a lot of injuries on the offensive line. That's what I'm going to say about
and what does that make Sony Michel?
Not a bust. I don't think it's through the fault of his own. I think,
but he's still
I think with some healed offensive. I think with some healed offensive lines.
But Pat.
I think some healed offensive lines could improve his game.
Look, he could play with one offensive lineman. He's still
So I want to talk a little bit about Fernie Jennings, okay? I want to know you guys' thoughts. He's out of Bama. This was the first pick of the draft where I was like, okay. Actually, no, the pick out of Michigan was fine. I like this pick personally a little bit better. I like the pick. Bama churns out. This is, everybody knows this. Bama churns out NFL players. Playing the SEC is just it's the best possible competition in college, in my opinion. He knows who he's been playing against. Watching some of his tapes before the podcast, the best word I could describe this guy with is disruptive. He's just a problem on the field, and it fills the losses of Van Noy. It fills Collins just on the defense in general. It fills a lot of holes that they had. I think it was a smart pick.
Me too. And especially filling the replacement for Van Noy, that was huge.
He's a meat and potatoes.
That's right.
The guy can line up.
Yes.
Guy can
I
line
love
up,
that.
Can get after the quarterback. Can drop back if he needs to.
Big meat and potatoes guy.
Big meat and potatoes guy. Look, he's 6'2", but he plays like he's 6'5". He's obviously bigger skill-wise than his size represents. I think it's a good pickup.
And you know what? You know what I think of? I think of a Fernie Jennings. I think of Josh Uche. And I think of Chase Winovich. I like the sound. I don't know what it is. I like the sound of those three names together.
People are forgetting John Simon. That guy, stats-wise, won't come up. But on the field, you don't know he's good unless you watch the guy. He gets after the quarterback.
Very true. I'm just saying those 3 young players, that's like music to my ear. I like the sound of those 3 guys. 2 out of the 3 from Michigan, 1 monster from Bama. I have a little bit more confidence in our linebacker core than I did last year, definitely.
And you know what I think? Maybe it's a little bit of a hot take. I think the Patriots are going to be a Week 17 team. We've gotten into that in years past.
I agree.
Years past, podcast passing. Some teams are just Week 17 teams. This is like the teams that come down to Week 17 whether they're going to make the playoffs or not. I think the Patriots playoffs.
I think they're going to be maybe on the cusp of that. Yeah.
I think so. I think they had a really good draft. I've seen a lot of grades: C-, D+, C+. I don't agree.
I think
I'd
it's
give it
better
a
than that.
solid B. Solid B+.
A
I
good
would
hearty
say
old B.
Overall,
Yeah, okay.
overall grade for the draft, Michael, B.
I'd say
B
B+.
minus?
B+.
B+.
Plus is my grade because look at the potential that Duggar has. Uche's a surefire prospect. Anthony Jennings came from a big school. They addressed all of the needs they need
Yeah,
on the
but
team.
big schools don't tell big talent.
You just
Not
came out
necessarily.
saying that Alabama
Of course,
turns out
and
NFL
it helps,
players.
dude. They do. And look, maybe I shouldn't have said that. I'm just saying that, like, not always.
Not always, but I think Bama's a little bit of an exception.
But does it make you more confident in a player coming from Bama than Keene
Yeah.
State? Of course. You know what I mean?
Lenore Ryan.
Yeah, of course. You know what I mean? So does it make me more confident? Yeah. Look, I'm an optimistic guy. I'm gonna go a little bit lower than
already.
I'm gonna go a little bit lower than Michael. I'm gonna give this draft class and this choice in Belichick a B, not a B+. I'm gonna give it a B. I like the choices that they made. I think they addressed. I didn't quite think of the safety choice, but now that I think about it, I like it. I don't know if I like it as the first pick in our draft, but I didn't think about the safeties and how McCourty's aging. So I don't mind the pick.
A-.
Wow.
A-. I didn't think about the tight ends.
I disagree.
Look, coming to this draft, what were your biggest problems?
A-. Don't
front seven
weapons.
in tight end.
Yeah.
You got 2 tight ends. You got 3 guys for the front 7.
Yeah, dude. Project players.
They're not project. Second and third round guys.
The 6th and 7th round is all
Anthony
offensive
Jennings
line.
was third.
I'm sorry.
Kyle Uche.
You're talking
Uche
about
was
you're talking about
third.
the defense. Excuse me.
And both the tight ends were third. Those guys.
I thought you were referring to the offensive line.
Offensive line.
Yep.
No, offensive line is fine. I'm not worried about it at all. I think
I'm not particularly worried about
play better this year. I think they have good weapons. I think the big question mark is Stidham. We're gonna get into that next podcast. I don't want to get into it, but I think he could lead this team. You know.
It's going to be interesting.
I like the secondary. It's still top 5 in the NFL. They're going to have a lot of young players in the front 7. It's the full recipe, man. It's the recipe for a winning team, and I like it.
I love that. Yeah, so I still give it a B. I mean, I think the safety was a good move that I didn't quite think about. Round 2, round 3, back-to-back, both linebackers, Uche and Jennings. I like the picks. Still not a fan of both the tight ends. I still think we could have gotten somebody.
I like Asiasi. You can maybe sway me.
I like Asiasi too.
You can maybe sway me on Keene, but I like Asiasi.
I like Asiasi too. I don't think Keene was particularly the smartest play. I think you could have gotten a really solid. I think you could have gotten a receiver round 3. Maybe that's a little pretentious. Maybe that's a little like, okay, we have enough there. I think you could have maybe gotten a quarterback round 3, but we're going to get into that next podcast.
You could have got a quarterback round 5.
You could have gotten a quarterback in a lot of spots, and we're going to talk about that all next podcast, Mike.
Yeah.
But I think you could have gotten a lot of different picks in round 3 than a second tight end, and I still feel like, and I get that they're project players, I think
they're
you
not.
could have. No, I'm talking about the 6th and 7th round. I feel like you could have thrown in a receiver just for the hell of it, just for.
But you also
just
have to remember,
for
dude, if you're watching the draft, a lot of teams were reaching on receivers. Like, a lot of the projected areas were, like, maybe 4th or 5th round, and they were reaching on, like, 3rd-round picks. So if you're the Patriots,
just such a heavy class,
and you're seeing this, why would you also, like, try to reach if you don't think that these
they were testing
are worth that talent?
They were testing the waters majorly. I think if there was a wide receiver there, they would have taken it. But I would agree that I think if a wide receiver was there, would they have snagged it? I think so, personally.
You know, I'm going to bump it up to an A+. Perfect draft. No, I'm kidding.
Slow down.
I'm kidding.
I still keep it in a B. I like some of the moves that Belichick made. Some of the placing I would mess with. And look, the gadget players don't really matter. I would have liked to seen one wide receiver just to see what he could do. But all in all, I think they had a really solid draft, and I'm super excited to see what these guys can do this year. Neil, draft grade.
Honestly, I give it a B. Like Pat said, I like Tayan Asiasi. I love his versatility. He had one really starting breakout year at UCLA. I think it just shows what this guy can do in his potentially NFL. It was a little, once you got past, as far as Doug goes, once you got past the shock feature of, oh my God, they took a D2 guy in the first 3 rounds for the first time since 2006. The Bears did it, but it was just, I think once you got past that and realized, okay, this guy could have some potential and could add to this team. I think we.
Who was the guy picked in 2006?
Manning something. Damian Manning. He went 47th overall with the Bears.
I haven't even heard of him, so doesn't bode well.
Exactly. But I also like the double linebacker picks. But yeah, B. It was It wasn't a total, bust like the Packers, but it wasn't, or the Texans, but it wasn't.
Neil, I know you're a little bit smarter than the average Bear, but for me, a B's a good grade. You're
kind of knocking it, but you're giving it a B.
knocking a B, you smart ass. Whatever. I'm happy with the B, man.
Wow.
I'm
You know what? No. C plus B minus.
Okay, well that's different from a B, dude.
Yeah, C plus.
Then if you want the comparison, I'm going. You know what? As Michael so wisely put it,
So no, dude, a C minus I would consider a pretty poor draft. Do you think this was a poor draft?
I didn't say it was a poor draft. I said it was an draft. I said they didn't do super poorly, and they didn't do super. It wasn't A plus. It wasn't Texans. I don't know if Texans is like the measure of comparison. That's just awful. But C plus B minus.
So we got Michael. What is your final grade?
A plus. No, A minus.
Okay.
A minus. Mine is a B. And Neil.
Oh, final answer. I guess I gotta pick one. C plus.
C plus. I like the rankings, boys. Fantastic podcast.
Boys,
loved it.
Click it up.
Click it up. Very nice.
Oh, I'm Neil.
I'm Pat.
I'm Michael.
We'll see you next week. Whoa.
Let's go. All right.
Very nice.
There you go.
Very nice.
Very nice job.